COVID-19 is marked as World Sickle Cell Day. Sickle cell disease is believed to be the most frequent genetic disease worldwide. The disease is a disorder that affects the red blood cells, which helps transport oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. Normally, red blood cells are round and flexible, so they can travel freely to the narrow blood vessels. But when sickled, the period is characterized by excruciating pain. And well, would want to find out the situation here in Ghana. And really, I didn't get that medical term myself, so don't worry, we'll get an explanation shortly, as I am joined in the studio. By management and genetic counseling. No, I'm joined in the studio by Selina Crab. She's a public health nurse, and she is to my far left. There's also Joel Adai. Joel Adai is a sickle cell disease survivor. And if you're wondering why I have Joel here, you'll find out in the course of our conversation. I'm going to start with you, Selina. First of all, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
But I'll start off with you. What was all that I read about the red blood cell being round, and, you know, what difference does it make?
The normal red blood cell is oval in shape. But when we say somebody has a sickle cell disease, it means it is a disorder of the red blood cell. That is the hemoglobin, which is abnormal. And it forms a sickled shape. That's
like the sickle used to hack rice and harvest?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's become rigid. Now, normally the red blood cell contains oxygen and other nutrients that it is being transported to the other parts of the body, as you said. So if this red blood cell, which is abnormal, is being transported to the other parts of the body to supply oxygen and other nutrients, when oxygen is released from the red blood cell, it becomes rigid. And it's, instead of it to flow easily, they stuck to each other. Yes, and they block the veins and tissues and organs in the system. So oxygen to the other parts become depleted. Yes, and it can't flow. So it causes those pains and other things.
What causes the blood cell to change its shape from the round to the sickle shape?
It is when the oxygen is released from the red blood cell.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Now,
then it becomes rigid.
Now I get it. But when a sufferer gets a crisis, from what I read, it comes with excruciating pain.
Yes,
and Joel, that's where you come in. How are you, though?
Right, I'm 34.
And how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm great.
You're well. But
great.
what happens when you get a crisis? That's what it's called.
Yeah. Well, it depends. You know, the crisis can occur in any part of the body, and you know, you feel pain. You know, like in your joints, you know, your knee, your legs, your back. Any.
How bad is the pain?
Wow. Well, it depends. Some crises are mild, some are severe, and believe you, the severe ones are really painful.
I'm passionate about sickle cell because just about 2 months, a couple of months ago, I lost one of my colleagues because he suffered a crisis and he died. David Odoidankwa. May his soul rest in peace. How prevalent is the disorder here in Ghana?
It's high.
How bad is the situation for us here in Ghana?
You know, normally in Ghana, most parents doesn't check when they're getting married. So there might be careers. Then they will marry. So when they marry, they give birth to sickle cell children. So we have a lot of cases that are. And now we have so many types. Like, as you have asked Joel, the vaso-occlusive crisis, that is the pain. It is so severe that when it comes, it is very excruciating. And if they don't rush to the hospital, even sometimes when they come to the hospital, with the first aid management, they still bear the pain. Yes.
I see. And so then there are types of the sickle cell. Everybody does not fall under the same category.
We have causes of it. One is the vaso-occlusive crisis, and we have another one that is the sequestration crisis, which affects the spleen, taking a lot of blood from the body system. Then we have the hemolytic anemia, whereby the body is using its own tissues to survive, so the patient become anemic. Yes. And we have the aplastic anemia, whereby it is being deprived from the bone marrow. Instead of the bone marrow to supply red blood cells, it is being depleted because it doesn't have enough to produce.
We'll come to surviving sickle cell, but from what I read, a lot of babies here in the country are born with it, and like you said, because parents don't take time to check whether or not they can have babies without sickle cell. Joel, at what age did you, were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed at the age of 10. Actually, it came about, I went to play football with a couple of friends, and then I had a sore on my leg. I didn't show it to my parents, and it became a bigger sore. And later, when they found out, we were trying all sorts of things, and the sore was not healing. So we went to a doctor friend. Actually, he was an uncle, was married to an aunt of mine. And then he said, okay, let's take him to Kolebu. They did test on the soil and stuff, and they weren't finding anything. So later, one of the doctors said, okay, then let's check him for sickle cell, because it is known that one of the complications of sickle cell is this leg ulcer. So I was brought to Kolebu. Well, the doctor sent me to his friend, who is Dr. Chumesi. Then he did the sickle cell test for me, and then they found out I was SS. So that was when I got to know that I had sickle cell.
SS is like typical sickle cell.
Yeah, you know that they are, as Selena said, they have different types. They have the SS, they have the SC, the SFS, thalassemia, CC, and stuff. And then it is, the SS is like, we say that the SS is the sickle cell anemia, because that one presents with more anemic conditions, unlike the SC, where those who have SC have a slighter, higher hemoglobin. The sickle cell has to do with like the shortage of blood in your system, because your red blood cells are not up to the normal level which you are supposed to have. So what happens is that you are generally anemic almost every time. That is one of the causes, or I should say the main cause, So it makes you anemic most of the time. That when you're anemic, your energy level is depleted, everything is affected. Even your immune system, you are prone to infections and stuff. So let's say SS is the sickle cell anemia. That is the main one. And then they have the other types, which people describe as milder forms.
The fear for a lot of people is the fact that once you've been diagnosed with sickle cell, it means that you can't live a normal life again.
You know what? Let me say this. There have been studies to show, like long time ago, that the survival rate was this and that. And well, if somebody has recent studies, the person can bring it up. But I think that now more people are getting to know the disease, and more people are getting to understand the disease. So, of course, people will definitely die different ages and stuff. People say that, it was believed that in the olden days, people who had sickle cell didn't live more than the ages of 15, 18 and stuff. But we have an association, which I'm a part of. We have members of that association who are 80, 70, like old people who are part of the... And so now, I think the survival...
But it means that you need to take better care of yourself.
Of course, you, just like any other disease condition, you really need to take care of yourself. The first thing is that you have to understand what it is. I tell people that if I had known what I know today when I was younger, I don't say that my life is not okay, but I would have been
You've made a lot of changes.
Of course, I would have made a lot of changes.
Right. We'll come to some of the things you have had to do to change your life since you were diagnosed at the age of 10. But how do I know I have sickle cell?
It is when you see your doctor or you go to the hospital, then they request for sickling test. So when the sickling test prove positive, then they will do further test, that is electrophoresis. So that determines the genotype of a patient.
In other words, there are no clear-cut symptoms for you to sit at home and tell yourself, I have sickle cell.
Oh, there are.
There are symptoms that
Yes.
you can sit at home and tell yourself that. Share with us.
You know, normally they feel this bone pain. As I said, they get sick very often. They become anemic, severe anemia. Each time the patient doesn't have enough blood, the person becomes fatigued. When he walk a little distance, is tired. Sometimes they become restless. They urinate this brownish urine color, which is Coca-Cola. Yes. And some of them get jaundice and other things.
Then it means that you should suspect and then ask the doctor for
You
a
know,
test.
such signs and symptoms also relate to other medical conditions. So it is best to be confirmed
By a doctor.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so if you're
by
facing
doing
any
the
of those-
electrophoresis. Even though these signs and symptoms are general, it should be confirmed.
How challenging is it dealing with sickle cell in Ghana?
We need fun.
You need funding. Everybody needs money. The economy is tight.
Yeah, I've heard statements, excuse me, and I know it's very true that some friends of mine who have sickle cell have said that sickle cell is a disease for the poor. Because, and it's true because, you know, if you have sickle cell and let's say your parents are rich, you have better health care, easy access to good medication. When I say good medication, excuse me, but you know, when they give you drugs, like you have an infection, you have to go and buy antibiotics. They have the generic ones and they have the original, which, you know, you can, let's say they write augmentin for you and you have to go and buy 50 Ghana, 60 Ghana. Your parents don't have money, they can't afford. They will get the same augmentin for maybe 20 or 15 and they would buy that for you. And that one will not be as effective as the real one, which is about 60 Ghana. So when your parents are rich or you have that financial backing, you know, you get the good drugs, you eat well, you have access to health care. Anytime you feel something, you just go for a checkup. Any test that you're supposed to do, you do it. I think you'll be fine. So,
Selena, you wanted to say something about the
I
funding.
think, you know, they need, let me add up before the fund. They need affection and care.
Affection and care.
Yes. And then you need to give them time, in the sense that if the person complains, send the person to hospital, provide first aid. If it is the pain, apply warm compress to the parts, give first aid, maybe para or something. If the pain doesn't subside, you send the patient to the hospital. Then we take up from there. Some too, you have to eat well. If it is anemic, it is not always the drugs that will help you, even though the drugs will help the red blood cell to develop. But you also have to eat to maintain a good health so that your HB will be boosted. So you take in more iron diets, all green leafy vegetables, snails, fishes, and other things. You see, so if you eat well, you can also live healthy and the anemia will be improved.
One of the challenges, I mean, from where I sit, was the fact that perhaps people would discriminate against you after you've been diagnosed with the disease and you make it known. What was it like for you growing up?
Well, the discrimination aspect is very real. Yeah, I know this year's topic is stop the stigmatization and then know your status. The thing is that, well, I could say that is ignorance. Most of people in Ghana don't know their genotypes. Let me ask you, do you know yours?
I'm not sure.
You see. And what we are trying to do is that, you know, we've seen that
right after the show.
most families would have the traits. That is the most important aspect, because when you are AS, you don't show any sign of having sickle cell. You look like, let me say, normal. You go about your daily duties, there's nothing. You meet another person who you think is beautiful, you want to get married. You don't bother to check. And then before you realize, you get married and then you start giving birth to children with sickle cell. And then even the parents, some parents themselves start discriminating. They don't want their children.
The evil child.
Yes. Like you, sickle cell.
I get it.
Some, especially the fathers, will say, it's not in my family. I don't have sickle cell in my family. It's your fault. Where your mother waits for you, I don't know.
So has it been difficult for you choosing a partner?
Well, it was, okay, let me say it was. I prayed about it. I'm very, you know, I believe in God, spiritual and stuff.
Absolutely.
And it was easy, sort of. Should I
After
say?
prayers.
Yeah, after prayers. But I have friends who, it's really difficult because.
Now, was it easy telling your partner, "I'll need you to go and check your sickle cell status"?
Yeah, one thing about this condition is that first of all, you have to accept yourself for who you are. You understand? And I don't go about announcing to everybody that, hey, this is me, I'm a sickle cell patient. But I don't hide the fact when it's important. When I went to school, I told my roommate, this is my problem. So these are things I can do. These are things I can't do. I'll need you to help me when I'm down and stuff like that. You need to have the confidence in yourself to tell your close friends. Of course, because if you go about telling everybody, people will start looking at somebody, this guy is a sick. I've dealt with a whole lot of issues about this stigmatization and discrimination and stuff, but I just purpose in my mind to be strong. It's not my fault. I was born with it. I didn't ask my parents to, give birth
to you like that.
So
it brings me to the question of, can we acquire sickle cell?
No.
Yeah, you can't acquire it. It's genetic.
Yeah.
I see. So then you can't have a condition that will eat away your blood cell, your red blood cell, that will probably shape it into the sickle.
No, maybe leukemia or something, but not sickle cell.
That's
you
different.
won't call it
No, you
right,
won't have sickle cell.
we're clear on that. You can't acquire it.
No.
And that's why it's even more important for you to know your status.
Yeah.
And to test for.
Is it an expensive test to have?
Oh no.
No,
not
really.
all.
Painful?
No.
It's just normal blood sample that the laboratory will take.
I'm asking those questions so that at the end of the show, someone could just walk into a hospital and then ask that I want to be tested. Do all hospitals test?
Oh yes, if only they have.
The equipment.
The equipment.
I understand the equipment is quite expensive, so I think Kolebu
will have
reached 37. Most of the big hospitals.
And some private institutions.
Yeah,
too
some private too.
I see. So what's happening today as we mark the World Sickle Cell Day?
Yeah, today is World Sickle Cell Day, and today we have a program, Stop Stigmatization, Know Your Status. Now, we are telling the public that if somebody is a sickle cell patient, don't stigmatize the person. The person is a normal person as anybody else. Normal in quotes, because if the person has a red blood cells of A, that is the hemoglobin, it's a normal person. If it is abnormal, then it is the SS or AC or any other type. Now, to avoid stigmatization, if the person eats well, drink water, doesn't walk on rain and other things, the person can live a normal, the person can attend to school, the person can become somebody great in future as any other person. So it is not advisable to be stigmatizing them. It depresses them. So emotionally, it should be out. They are normal as any other person. So today, that is what we are doing, and everybody should know their status. So test for it.
I see. And so if someone has a crisis now, what can we, those around, do for that person?
Okay. First of all, most sickle cell patients know what works for them. Most, especially those who are a bit matured. So the crisis, though they say it comes on at once, mostly, but you would know when you're about to have a crisis. There are things that brings on the crisis. You know that today I was stressed, I've not eaten well, I've not drunk enough water, But then there are some that comes on suddenly. So those around, what you could do probably is find a painkiller, para, or whatever. I encourage the person to drink a lot of fluids, water, juice, anything. And then sometimes, like for me, one thing that really works for me is hot water. When I get pain, sometimes I get hot water. I don't usually do the hot or cold compress. I take a shower, hot shower. And then maybe a cooler one for another.
I see.
Well, hot one.
Right. So
elaborate on it.
I'll let you have that chance to elaborate. But I'll hit the phone lines now and speak to my colleague Etanam Say. Etanam Say is joining us from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where an event is being held to mark the day. Hello, Etanam.
Hello, Kemini.
So tell us what's been happening.
Okay, I'm here at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the Ghana Medical Center, and They're marking the World Sickle Cell Day. You know, every year it is marked, and the opportunity is given to health officials to educate the general public on what sickle cell is all about. You know, we grew up with so many myths around what exactly it means to be a sickle cell patient. Sometimes you are just a carrier, and people say you are a sickle cell patient, and so you are not going to live beyond 21 years. They are here. This year's theme is stop stigmatization and know your status. If you know someone who has the disease, don't stigmatize against the person. And then you also have to know your status. It's important for you to go to the hospital and check whether you're a sickle cell patient or not. Sometimes you're just a carrier, which is an AS or an AC. If you marry a person who is also an SS or AS, then it means you have the opportunity of, there's a possibility of having children who are sickle cell patients, which is not advisable. And so, I mean, generally they are here and they are educating the general public on what exactly to do, where to go for your test, and what to do and what not to do. I think basically the program is still ongoing. They are still addressing the media and some school children and some other people.
Right.
So really, yeah. That's what is happening here.
Thank you very much for that information. Etanam Say joined us from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where an event is being held to mark the 2014 World Sickle Cell Day. In the studio with me, to my far left, a public health nurse, Talina Crab, and Joel Adai, who is also a sickle cell disease survivor. We've been talking sickle cell on this day as we mark an awareness for the blood disorder. You wanted to elaborate on that. I'll make that a last bit.
Okay. As he said, you know, with the sickle cell condition, those with the pain, that's the vasopressive pain, when they apply warm compresses, it relieves the pain. So as he said, he take the warm bath. So either you drink warm water, not really hot, but something warm, not cold. It dilates the blood vessels. It will help the blood to flow. Then it will relieve the pain.
Okay.
Yes. Then you take the pain reliever too.
Oh,
in
I
addition.
See.
Yes.
I see. I mean,
and
the point
you know,
is,
sometimes stress too can cause it. So if you overworked, sometimes you can get crisis.
I see.
If you are fatigued, you can get crisis.
But Joel, I think the most important thing is the fact that having sickle cell or being diagnosed with it is not a death sentence.
Yes, of course. I keep on telling people every day that, you know, having sickle cell disease is not a death sentence. There are, you know, it's not good to be comparing with other diseases and stuff, because every disease is a disease. But we are trying to say that it's a condition. You are born with it, you live with it for the rest of your life. So you have to best know about it and then know how to manage it. And you'll be fine. I believe you'll be fine, because a lot of people, especially parents, get distressed when they hear that their children are sickle cell and stuff. I remember I was doing a course at a certain school, and there was this woman who was like next to me. She was always like, I was always drinking water, and was like, why do you always drink lots of water? I said, well, I have sickle cell. Oh, sorry. I said, like, why, you know, why are you saying you are sorry? What's the big deal about it? You know? And a lot of people think that as soon as you have sickle cell,
it means you're done.
Yeah, you know.
But that isn't true. Thank you very much, you two, for making time to pass through the program. That'll be all for the hour. See you again at midday on News Today. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. Goodbye.